In February of 2021, Whitney Merrill, a privacy attorney who lives in San Francisco, asked audio chat company Clubhouse to disclose how many people had shared her name and phone number with the company as part of its contact sharing feature, in hopes of getting that data deleted. Because she did not hear from Clubhouse, she tweeted about this and also reached out to multiple Clubhouse employees for help. Only after that, and weeks after the California Consumer Privacy Act's 45-day deadline for companies to respond to data deletion requests, only then did Clubhouse respond and comply with her request to delete her information. This is the Digital Prepper, and today I'm going to be talking about businesses, what data they might have on you, and how you can possibly get them to delete that data. Before we get started, I just want to remind you guys that if you do like the video and want to discuss anything regarding digital preparedness, or just preparedness in general, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to see more like this. With that being said, let's get started. The California Consumer Privacy Act, or CCPA, which went into effect in 2020, gave California residents the right to ask companies to not sell their data, to provide a copy of that data, or to delete that data. Virginia and Colorado have also passed consumer privacy laws, which should go into effect in 2023. More states are also thinking about adopting this kind of privacy legislation, and Massachusetts, New York, Minnesota, North Carolina, Ohio, and Pennsylvania may be next to adopt these kind of privacy policies. Some companies, which include Spotify, Uber, and Twitter, have already stated that they do honor requests from people outside of California when it comes to data deletion. Now, just because they do state this does not mean that it always goes smoothly. Data is unfortunately very valuable to companies, and some of them don't make it easy to delete or remove. The request forms for getting companies to remove your data are often hidden on the company's websites, the processes can be awkward, and there may be barriers to verifying your identity before deletion that might slow things down. Sometimes your personal data can be tied up in confusing legal requirements, so companies literally cannot get rid of it. And finally, the technical burden of these data requests is simply too much for some companies to handle. With all this being said, that does not mean it's a lost cause. Many data deletion requests are successful according to companies' own metrics, and things do get a lot easier if you know where to look. A lot of companies are doing their best to figure out how to deal with privacy laws and an influx of data rights requests, with some companies' response time for these requests being less than 10 days. So, how do we get this done? Well, first thing we need to do is ask, what data can you actually request companies to delete? Data in this case is defined as information like your name, phone number, email, and home address. Some companies do collect more data than this, like your age, gender, interests, real-time location, and even behavior on certain applications and websites. Now, all this data sharing may seem harmless to some people, but it definitely does create issues when a company is hacked and your information falls into the wrong hands, or when companies use it to influence your spending and other decisions without your consent. Under the CCPA laws in California, businesses are supposed to provide at least one way for consumers to get in touch and ask them to delete their data. This can be a phone number, an online form, an email address, or a physical paper form. Big companies that serve more than 10 million California consumers in a year are also supposed to disclose their privacy policies, how many requests to delete that they've received during the previous calendar year, and how many they actually have honored. Doing a little bit of research, some of these companies did not have a clear way to submit requests, and others didn't even share how many requests they've received and honored. So let's get started. In order to submit a data deletion request to some of these companies, first I recommend to go to the company's website and scroll down to the very bottom of the page. There should be possibly a link that says something like privacy, privacy policy, CCPA, or if you're in California, your California privacy rights. Sometimes finding these forms and addresses isn't exactly intuitive, but the process does look similar across all websites. Once you do find something like this, click the link and you should find yourself on a page dedicated to either privacy or CCPA. Scroll down until you find references to data deletion, or use the shortcut Ctrl+F to search for the word delete. The company will either list an email address for a data protection, privacy, or legal department, or provide a form that you can fill out online. Now, if the form that you do find doesn't specifically reference data deletion, that is okay. You should include a, quote, data deletion request somewhere in the subject line if there is one, and do let the company know that you're happy to verify your identity. Now, if you're in California, the CCPA gives companies 45 calendar days to respond to your initial deletion request. The company will probably ask you to send over additional information or set up an appointment to verify your identity. That is so no one can pretend to be you and steal or delete your data. You might need to verify your account username and password, or provide a piece of data like your phone number for the company to cross-check, or some companies ask you to show your government-issued ID. Either way, you should never be required to set up an account to get your data deleted, according to the CCPA. Now, do remember, only California residents have the right to data deletion under the CCPA. But what if you don't live in California? Well, as I've mentioned before, some companies have said that they will honor data deletion requests no matter where you live. For example, Spotify, Uber, and Twitter have said that they do treat deletion requests from any geographic location the same. Netflix, Microsoft, Starbucks, and UPS have also said that they'll extend CCPA rights to all Americans. Now, does this mean that submitting a request will mean that your data will get deleted? Unfortunately, no. Deletion requests are subject to broad exemptions. Some companies like financial services do have to hold on to certain data for legal compliance and reporting. The CCPA also allows companies to keep your data if they are using it for security, debugging, or fraud protection, or, quote, to enable solely internal issues that are reasonably aligned with the expectations of the consumer based on the consumer's relationship with the business. Again, unfortunately, this kind of language is very easy to exploit and does prevent your data from being deleted by that business. Additionally, the CCPA doesn't require companies to delete personal data that has been aggregated or de-identified. This basically means that if they can combine your data from other people in a way that obscures which data comes from who, they are allowed to keep it. Now, some more shady companies do use a design technique called dark patterns. This is basically defined as a user interface that has been carefully crafted to trick users into doing things. They do this to discourage consumers like you and me from accessing and deleting their data. Now, some examples of these dark patterns include those pop-ups on shopping sites that try to strong-arm you into providing your email address with options that say, quote, yes, I want emails, or no, I would like to remain ignorant of important sales and promotions. Now, if you think a company is ignoring CCPA laws, you can report it to the California Attorney General. For people that are not in California, tagging companies on social media is another good way to call attention to their problems. Another question that you might be asking yourself right now is, can't somebody do this for me? Well, the answer to this is yes. For California residents, the CCPA allows for an authorized agent to submit requests on your behalf. They just have to prove that they have your permission to do so, obviously. If you are technically savvy or know someone who is, the open source tool PrivacyBot can send mass data deletion requests from your email address. I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description to this. Go ahead and check it out. Some browsers and browser extensions, including the browsers Brave and DuckDuckGo, do include a setting called Global Privacy Control, which sends your Do Not Sell preference directly to the websites that you visit. Now, companies have been slow to honor this signal, but the California Attorney General's office makes it very clear in its CCPA frequently asked questions that businesses must treat global privacy control as a valid opt-out request. Unfortunately, though, many companies still choose to ignore it. Companies that you do use, and even the ones that you've never heard of, are gathering data on you every day. It would be impossible to send a data deletion request to every company that's ever gotten its hands on your phone number, for instance, because there's not really a way to know who has it. A more effective approach to this is to focus on opting out of the sale of your data in the first place. Companies aren't obligated to honor these requests from people outside California, but plenty of them do. Just don't lie about where you live and see what happens. Ultimately, your approach to data deletion will depend on your own concerns, because some people are more proactive with their protection of their data, and others do think that it's a necessary evil that they need to live with because it is so ingrained within our society. I, for one, am hoping that these processes improve over time, and there will be more solutions developed to make it easier for us to exercise our right to have our data removed from companies. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to get more videos like this that will help you with your digital preparedness. If you have any ideas for more videos, or just want to share your experiences with prepping, please leave a comment down below. Stay safe, stay prepared, more digital prepping to come.